be calling me royalty.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tier 2 Round 2. Surprisingly, you may be wondering why is it Round 2 after 10 rounds or 11 rounds are already done or 12 rounds, I don't know. Because this race unfortunately was a redo. However, well, the championship is still not over. ABD and SteelSneeze are well within the fight. We'll have a quick look at the standings later on. But for now, our streamer is SSJ and my co-commentator is Darknight. Hello, Darky.
Hello, Simply.
Well, we have an interesting race coming up ahead of us. About 36 or 26, around those laps. But of course, before we go there, let's have a quick look at the track. 6 kilometers long, 20 corners in this very, very long straight that features, of course, a prime overtaking zone. Little bit of an elevation change in the final sector, but nothing that these guys cannot handle. Well, Darky, what are your expectations for this race?
My expectations, I mean, this is it's I've always said this is just a wider Singapore for me, and it's going to be very chaotic. I mean, we did the social race a couple of days back, and it was it was a lot of fun, and the championship battle, which is actually very interesting because we have two championship battles that are going on, which normally the constructors is sealed very quickly, but this time we have the constructors and the drivers, and both are I think 6 or 7 points apart. So it's going to be very interesting between ABD and SteelSneeze, and also with Mercedes and Alfa Romeo, who who are both well within reach to get the championship.
Yep, and as you can see on your screen, we have exactly that, the championship standings right in front of us. We can see that Mercedes as well as Alfa Romeo are in a little bit of a battle for the constructors, and of course, unfortunately, only EP is there in terms of Alfa Romeo. So he has a lot of work to do and he has to go up against ABD because I'm pretty sure Jose won't be too much of an issue. Talking about ABD, he is currently leading the championship from Utpalutra, or also known as Steve's Knees. And this is the battle we will be looking out for. As you can see, the points gap not too much, only about 6 or so points. So essentially, whoever comes out ahead of the other driver will be pretty much winning the championship. So this will be extremely close and very, very interesting to watch.
Yeah, and we know, how quick Steel Sneeze is, and also another driver. I don't know if Nine is joining us today. I think he is. So Nine has been rapid, in the last couple of races, and we'll get to see how it all turns out. And for Alfa Romeo boys, so I think for the last couple of races, I think one of them, only one driver was present for each of those races. So they have somehow Mercedes has caught up and now they're leading. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race, and hopefully we get to see a very close battle between all four.
Certainly, this is going to be very, very fun to watch. EP10, of course, has been a force to reckon with himself. Obviously, currently sitting P3 in the championship on 160 something points. Of course, in contention with 9 for that P3. And yeah, so actually, if we look at it in that sort of a whole perspective, there's actually a fight for pretty much every position that is there. And all of these guys will be looking to do their absolute best to get as many points as they possibly can against their competitors to potentially win this whatever position that they're fighting for. And of course, as you've mentioned countless number of times, between ABD and State Series, the title fight that is there.
And another thing is what we didn't notice was the Alpha Tauri boys. I mean, they are only about 10 points away. So if the Alfa Romeo boys and Mercedes boys don't manage to finish, if 9 manage to win and the other 4 manages to, have some sort of issues, then, Alpha Tauri boys can clutch it and get the championship. So, right, the main battle is obviously between the Alpha and Mercedes boys, but Alpha Tauri is well within reach to get it.
Yeah, but talking about AlphaTauri, as we had seen earlier in this season, clearly some contacts always happen between the
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, then they had a lot more space, especially it takes me back to Qatar, if you remember that race, where
Yeah.
there was a little bit of a contact between the two AlphaTauri guys. Over here, if they have contact, well, one of them or maybe even the both of them are ending up in a wall. So, the best thing that they'd hope for is they're nowhere close to each other because for whatever reason, they're running magnets in those cars.
Yeah, and what we know from F1 is that if you're mathematically still in contention, there's always a chance to win. So let's see how it all pans out for this race.
And as we watch Vicious as the sole Aston Martin of the grid today, well, he was also in the title fight before he decided to go to a reserve position. And of course, taking some time off in the middle as well. So he's on hards. He will just be doing a couple of bank laps, getting a feel of the track, and going. As we can see some clouds up there. I don't think it will rain. I think it's just going to be a little bit cloudy, and that is it.
Yeah, and talking about the track, I mean, what do you think the drivers are going to go for? What kind of setup? Because you can go for a more heavier downforce setup, which will help you, especially in sector 2, sorry, and then you have a low downforce setup, which will help you certainly in sector 1 and 3. So simply, what do you think these guys are going to go for?
Being a skilled driver myself, I usually prefer lower wings, whereas of course you make up with the suspension for the corners. So maximize the straight line, as well as you maximize the corners, and that is generally how a good number of tier 1 people do it, and that's what I'll be expecting from these guys as well, since half of the time they're using my setup. So hopefully they have adapted to it quite well, considering this is the second time we're running this race, so they will have some preparation to go with, of course.
Yes, to the handful of viewers, skilled is the key word here. So, yeah. So, let's see. I mean, I heard that ABD and Jose are planning to go for a slightly more heavier downforce setup, but we never know. Plans change at the very last minute.
Those are my tears.
Yeah, Jose might need it. Exactly. And Visit of Oz coming through the final. He's going to the final sector now. And this is where, if you have a low downforce setup, this is where you gain all the time. And can we see the telemetry? So he is hitting. Will he hit 340? Oh, it is
Barely managing
barely managing. Yeah.
339.
So that looks like a
Slightly higher
more
down for
higher
setup.
downforce setup. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if we can keep the telemetry open for some time watching onwards. Yeah, so E-Dogs went up to 342. Death by Monkey currently taking pole away with a 41-7. I wonder what these guys like, especially Jose, ABD, if they're actually sticking to that slightly higher downforce, what top speed are they getting? Because as you know, on this particular straight, top speed is very much required. Jose 330, Jose 340, so only a kph difference between him and E-Dog. Going fastest as well, 41-7, only a hundredth and a bit ahead of Death by Monkey.
Yeah, very good lap from Jose, and yeah, and ABD 5 tenths down, and it's crucial for ABD to be there right next to Steel Sneeze if he wants to keep that championship hopes alive. He's only leading by a slight margin, about 6 points, so he has to be right behind him. Otherwise, it's game over for ABD.
Yep. Miss coming across the line, 43-4, a second and a half away. Nirvana next across the line, and somehow the lap times are getting slower the further they cross it now. So that is a little bit interesting.
Yeah, and if someone lucks out with some slipstream, I think it's bonus for them. And slipstream helps a lot on this track. Even if you're not under DRS, it helps certainly a lot, especially during the race.
With again, I can only speak for myself as I was using a lowdown for setuping counter track as the Soul Alpine today. Yeah, as I was saying, for my setup at least, without TRS, which is again a fairly low down for setup, I was getting about maybe 360, not 360, apologies, that's a bit ridiculous, around 345, 350.
Yeah,
And with DRS, of course, a 370 is very much possible. DRS and slipstream, and of course, a little bit of a DRS dump. So I think if Jose and ABD do plan a little bit of a slipstream between each other, of course, ABD getting the priority here because he's in a proper title fight. He needs to be ahead, as far ahead of Steel Sneeze as possible. I think it'll be much better if Jose and ABD, do plan something of such sorts out and help ABD, because I'm pretty sure Steel Sneeze will try to pull something like that off with a Death by Monkey, because that 20 kph gain, 15 to 20 kph that you gain on the straight adds a lot of time to your lap.
exactly. And okay, so Jose, he's put on a fresh set of softs. So he's obviously planning to stay as ahead as possible. And yeah, I think today Jose has to play that team game. And if Steel sneezes right behind him, he has to keep him behind so that ABD can catch up. Not that ABD is not quick enough, but for the title fight, I think it's the best to do is to play the team game, stay up ahead, avoid incidents, and clinch both the drivers and constructors championship.
Yeah, but I think the Drivers' Championship is a little bit more important considering
Yeah.
the E-Dog. Thanks for Alfa Romeo. I think these guys You could see a little bit ahead. Yes.
Yeah, but Merc have both drivers also, so they can certainly close it off. But like you mentioned, simply both have to finish the race in order for that to happen.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, of course, looking at the past trends, especially at Abu Dhabi. It'll be hard for both the drivers to finish the race, but yeah.
And Portugal, and Portugal.
And Portugal, yeah, of course. And Australia, but that was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see.
Jose, who is in the final sector on the final main straight, of course, this being his least favorite straight of the whole track, thanks to, Baku 2021. With the DRS turned on, going through the same place where he got traumatized in 21, 41-4,
Oh,
three
wow.
tenths ahead of
Good luck.
Death by Monkey. So he improves just by around 3 tenths on his previous lap time.
Yeah, certainly a good lap from Jose, a 141.4. So, yeah, we haven't seen Steve Smith put a lap. Okay, so he's going to be starting a lap. And this is a very, very tricky part because you have to brake just enough that, you don't touch those curbs on the inside, because if you get those, your car unsettles and you're into the wall. So,
While also
yeah.
not braking too late, because it's hard to stop for those corners because the momentum that you carry is just quite high.
Yeah, I think that is the case with tracks like these where almost every corner is pretty much 90 degrees. And yeah, you have to brake just enough that you get the turn in, but not so much that you lose time.
Yep.
Going to the most difficult section, the castle section, takes that. Oh, it breaks a bit too much there. I'm sure I must have lost a 10 or something like that.
Yeah,
And
but
another,
it's just a banker,
yeah,
so he can afford to
this,
make some mistakes.
yeah, and this is the other tricky section. I mean, we have seen so many cars go into the wall there. Even during the race, we get that wing damage, and that's pretty much game over. You might get straight line, but the sector 2 is where you're going to get screwed.
Exactly. This takes me back to, I think, 2019 Giovinazzi, if you remember, him putting it right into the wall there
Exactly.
while doing exactly that. So, not worth the
Oh, he's
effort.
got a
Might as well take it a
slipstream.
little bit cautiously.
He's got
Slipstream
some sort of slipstream. Yeah. Okay.
up to P2 on just a banker
The
lap,
banker.
around 2 tenths away from Jose. This is not looking good for Jose.
Yeah, and the two Williams boys helping each other out on that slipstream. So both Death by Monkey and Steel Sneeze are playing the team game to make sure Steel Sneeze is as above as possible. And ABD is down there at 66, 8 tenths away. So I think ABD needs to put in a lap and somehow get into that top 3 for him to make any sort of gains.
Yeah, this is, of course, getting a little too close. APD only improving by 10.5 in the middle sector. This is, again, not enough of an improvement for APD. I think that high downforce setup might have been a little bit of a mistake, even with the DRS now, as he's turned it on. We'll be going through on the main straight. What lap time will he put in? Does improve but only by 3 tenths. Still half a second away from his teammate Jose Hero. So I think the roles have reversed a little bit here. I think maybe Jose is being told to push and give it his all so that he can punch up the pack, keep it there while ABD makes his way through.
Exactly. And Vicious getting way too close to the wall, trying to gain as much as time as possible. And he's up by a second. So he has done a brilliant sector and he touches the wall there. So could be a damage, but I don't think it should matter as much considering it's just pretty much a straight here. And let's see what time does Vicious can do. Crosses the line. And it's P2, so only a 10th away from Jose. So a great improvement from Vicious himself.
Yeah, suddenly the Mercedes guys are not looking too good, and of course, last time around, Vicious was the pole sitter. Before, of course, we had to cancel that race. So I think Vicious has a lot more left in his tank here, and he can definitely grab away pole potentially again. Edog slightly grazing the wall on the inside there, and he's pretty much out of the air. Yeah, he's on 0% already, surprisingly, but yeah, he is pulling off into the pit, so that is him backing off. And next we'll see a majority of these guys come out will obviously be when they have to come out for their final runs.
Yeah, and it's BK is also only 5 tenths away, but hopefully BK has a good race. It's not been a great season for him. So we have seen this trend where he qualifies really well, but during the race, it does not work out for him. So
Exactly, as SSJ is inviting just some people. Um,
Alex, okay. So he has exactly he has to load in the setup and exactly just get out as soon as possible to put in a lap.
Considering it's Alex and his little bit his some hardware restrictions, I doubt he'll be able to join in time, but hopefully he can get a setup going. BK19 is going to be starting his final run here a little bit too early, but at least he has the track to himself, although he won't be able to get the benefits of the track evolution that will be coming ahead of us. Going through turn one, using second gear weirdly, and getting a decent enough exit out of there. Once again, second gear for this corner, and straight on power on the exit with the DRS turned on, powering through this straight as we will be going right into turn 3 momentarily. Once again, he's going into second gear. Let me guess, second gear here as well. Absolutely. He is clearly liking the number 2 quite a bit as he keeps shifting down towards second gear here as well. Which is, I'd say, 1 gear too low for a lot of these corners. And this corner especially quite tricky, but he's actually perfected the line through there. Taking a very, very good line through there. Of course, that will help him throughout this whole castle section, carrying that momentum once again down to the second gear and back onto the throttle, powering through once again the final corner, final sector.
Yeah, I think he's on medium TC or full TC. I mean, that's the only way you can take a second gear. And okay, he's just scraped the wall somehow. And yeah, he's okay. He's about 4 tenths up from his 3.5 tenths up. So that will put him right in that top 4. Let's see where does he end up when he puts that lap. 333, 338, barely. Wow, a 141.4, and that's provisional pole for BK19. So he clearly has gotten that exit right and that setup right for the final sector at least, and he's on pole.
Yeah, but maybe it was a little too early, because if he had just come out a little bit later, he would have had that massive track evolution that you get through the game, and that could have genuinely helped him quite a bit. 9 starting a lap, lose on the exit of turn 1, coming into turn 2, third gear as it's supposed to be. Once again with the DRS, he's actually gotten a very good exit out of turn 2 here, powering down the straight, 8th gear, braking at just about 150 down to third, hitting that apex, and once again a short sprint before you come right to turn 4, and a little bit loose on the exit. That part of the track is a little bit slippery, so understandable. Have to manage the throttle a little bit there, and braking in the middle of the corner. The car turned in just so that he can get a proper exit through there. Can he get the... Oh, he's actually not done that turn well, as we have of course seen the perfect line with the BK, so we'll be comparing that now with everyone. Although these castle section and the corners right after that have been quite good from 9. So maybe a little bit of time recovery, but that one corner, if you nail it, you can easily gain like 2-3 tenths. So potentially by the end of this, there may be a couple tenths there. Don't really want to take that inside curve as it's quite a bit high on Saitozikar as it has for him. Third gear once again, timer ticks to 0. Checkered flag is out for the qualifying session here in Azerbaijan with 7 gear, and now of course flat out, hopefully not grazing a wall.
Yeah, purple middle sector for 9. So I'm sure this lap will put him right there in the top 3. So let's see where he does end up. Hitting about 337 on the straight, and that is pole. We break the 141 barrier. We're into the 140. So yeah. And Jose crosses the line. No improvement from his side. P3. And BK19 has gone to the pits. So that's a hell of a lap from 9. 5 tenths clear from P2.
Ink improving by almost 9 tenths, but only all that just for P7. Steel Sneeze, or Death by Monkey rather, actually improving by 5.5 tenths, comes across the line, goes up into P2. A very good starting position for him, for someone who has struggled in qualifying for quite a while now. Steel Sneeze improving around half a second once again through the final sector. Needs to find 2 tenths and a little bit more than that in the final sector here. All he has to do is now tackle this straight, and of course, hopefully he has gotten a good exit out of that final corner. We'll have the DRS. All eyes on Steel Sneeze as everyone is down with their qualifying session. Comes across the line. Where does he jump up to? He goes up into P3 by the end of it. Nirvana is improving by 6 tenths only. So that's going to put him P10, maybe P9 at the very best. And yeah, I think he has lost a little bit of time, or he's improved a little bit. Yeah, he's still in P12. So somehow he's lost all of that time that he gained in the final sector. But that is a strong qualifying session by the Williams guys.
Yeah, and also 9 who's been rapid and now he's on pole. So this is not going to be easy for ABD who's down at P9, and he has to work his way through to get right behind Steel Sneeze who's at P3 right now.
Exactly. Jose Hero again will have to turn into the biggest hero for ABD today, because if he doesn't, well, then ABD might be in deep trouble starting in P9, whereas currently, by the looks of it, Steel Sneeze is clearly going to be winning the championship.
Yeah, and the one thing we know about ABD is that he may be not as quick in quali, but it's a race where he's at his strongest. So hopefully he has a strong race and he's up there with the guys at the top.
Exactly, and maybe if there's a little bit weather that will play into it, will be quite nice as well.
Simply, so before the race starts, I think we should do what we always do: predict how many safety cars will come out. We only have about 14 drivers. So how many safety cars do you think we're going to get to see for this race?
4.
All 4.
Yep. 2, I'd say about 3 VSCs and 4 SCs.
No racing, just driving behind the safety car. Safety car wins.
Exactly.
I'm going to call 2 safety cars and 2 VSCs. I mean, that is, considering there are 14 people, I think we're going to have 2 safety cars at least.
Yeah, minimum 2 is always there. And of course, judging by the looks of the social race, for whatever weird reason, a whole VSC lasts for one full lap.
Yeah.
So if a VSC comes out as well, it's not like within half a lap they'll be staying there for one full lap. So that's all the more racing on.
I mean, drivers can pit even under VSC. I mean, they don't even have to hesitate. It will go for an entire lap. So we don't know why that is happening here, but it is the way it is, thanks to Cody's.
Exactly, and I think the drivers will be riding up very shortly here. So, Darky, when that does happen, I think let's have a look at the tires of the drivers, what they'll be starting.
Yeah. Can we see what tires are drivers on? Okay. So ABD is starting on the mediums, and Steel sneezes on the hard. So at least he's hopefully, I think he's going for a hard medium kind of strategy. I think that's what his plan is. And you can stretch it, make it a hard soft if you stretch the hard tires very well
with the safety cars.
with the safety cars. So that is the quicker strategy for this tier at least. But yeah, I think for ABD, it's crucial for him to make up the positions first and then manage about the tires. And with Ink, the only driver on softs right now, I guess he will change it last minute. But softs do work does help in gaining positions. But yeah, and we have the formation lap which is back. Initially, we had shut down the formation lab because of the glitches that it was causing, but it's back now.
Conveniently, it happened exactly at this track, exactly for this tier.
Yeah, exactly. So Ink is starting on softs, so he is planning on making more positions on the first few laps rather than go for lasting the tires.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of Deadshot support in this chat for whatever reason. Although, well, he conveniently got a season ban for himself. So I don't know what driver gets support when they get a season ban, but all right, all right.
And
Yeah, so Ink's still sticking onto that bold strategy of softs. I think he's guessing that maybe he'll pick up some damage in the beginning, or maybe a safety car will come out within the first lap, which I think within the first 2 laps, maybe a VSC will come out. A safety car has been quite rare in this tier, at least in the first couple of laps.
Yeah, and I mean, if a safety car does come out at the start of in the first few laps, and if he does pit for hards, I think it is still pretty good. There are only 14 drivers, and Ink is pretty quick enough to make up those positions. So if he does that, he then doesn't have to worry about sticking onto one tire and all of that, because there is that mandatory pit stop is out of the window then. So maybe that's what he's thinking right now, but we never know. You could pick up damage yourself and everything can change.
Exactly, damage will be a very, very big variable to play here at Baku. So we'll see how that goes. As we are finally finishing up this 6-kilometer long formation lap, and of course, Ink will be like, "Why are we doing this formation lap? Considering the softs really do not like taking in anywhere in this lightest, and that might be around 2% tire wear ready for Ink, which will be an unfortunate situation to say the least."
Yeah, and it's not the easiest on softs, especially. I mean, the thing with softs is that you have to gain the positions, and the best case scenario for you is to be stuck in a DRS train, because if you're stuck in a DRS train, then you're sorted in a way, because you can stretch it out for a couple more laps. But
exactly.
But the issue is that if you lose that DRS, that gap, then it's pretty much game over. So
yeah, it's over a second and a half the DRS gain on this circuit. So
yeah, so like you said, it's a very, very bold strategy. Okay, 9 is disqualified from the session. Okay, so they are not parked right. Yeah, so they are not parked right.
Yep.
So all the heat they've got into the tires will be reset to 0.
Exactly.
Oh wow!
We have
okay,
5 red lights up in front
of
look,
us. 9 is so far. Okay.
And lights out, and away we go with 9 getting us still a very, very good start despite being on the hard, still leading going into turn 1. I see some barge boards already flying off there. I don't know why I said barge boards. These cars don't have barge boards. I meant end plates. End plates are flying off there. There is BK19 who's trying to make a move down the inside. I was having a look, has not gone for it. Fury has lost a lot of position down into P12. There's contact between BK and E-Dog by the looks of it. BK, unfortunately, despite getting a very good start, has now fallen back down to P14. Not a good start for the Red Bull guys. Nirvana is still in P11 with Fury right behind him, whereas Ink has somehow still maintained position despite being on the softs. You'd expect him to gain at least a position, at least off the start, while being on the softs, but clearly has not worked out for him. Wizard was in P6. is following quite closely to Vicious here, and I think the delta is broken. Thank you, Cody's.
Yeah, and as you can see, Ink is now putting pressure on Wizard of Oz, especially those soft tires, which are like really quick right now. So for Ink, he has to pass, a couple of drives ahead to make something out of those tires. And we can see a driver going off. I think that's Mist or Alex. I think it's Alex who just went off. So yeah, he's also he's not lost a position. He's actually gained a position, but yeah, he's still further back. And Nine has lost position to Steel Sneeze. Now Steel Sneeze is leading the race, and ABD is down at P8, which is not looking good for him for his championship hopes.
Exactly. Some disaster has to strike now for Steel Sneeze. He has to be plumb last by like 40 seconds because otherwise there is absolutely no way ABD will be winning this despite putting in his best efforts.
Okay, PK19 has retired.
And that has brought out a virtual safety car.
Safety car. Okay, so that's one.
Okay,
So
cool. So we can take a little bit of a chill pill for a lap. APD has already decided to pit. So has Nirvana. Is that a
Okay,
Hards?
that's it. I think he has end plate damage. Yeah, he
That
has
is a
end plate
call
damage.
for the Hards with the wing change. So
So
that
he's
entry that we saw flying was APD's.
yeah, and it was ABD and an Alpha Tauri who had damage. So yeah, we can see ABD has certainly gone into the pits to get that wing changed. Now he'll be on the hards, and now he'll have to push on to climb up some positions to get those championship back. And we can see Wizard of Oz spun out with damage.
And Alex has also picked up a drive through.
Okay, so that is pretty odd. Don't know what happened there, but
Yeah, his
yeah.
teammate wasn't close to him. So maybe he's lost his rear on the exit in a hurry to restart the race quite quickly.
Yeah, and that has certainly not worked out for a Wizard of Oz. And now ABD is now further back, and obviously the time interval table has been glitched. Thank you, Cody's, for that. And
Yeah, because there's no way, as much as people are supporting Steel Sneeze, there's absolutely no way he can pull off a 2 minute gap tonight. So, although I'm pretty sure he'd hope for a 2 minute gap tonight, unfortunately, not happening today.
yeah, and we know ABD is not so slow that he's 2 minutes away from Wizard of Oz. But
Yeah, definitely not.
yeah, and we can see is that Death by Monkey putting on. Yeah, so he's certainly made the move on Jose Hero, and he's up to P3 now. So the Williams boys have certainly done their part. Now they are 1-3. For them, it's just a matter of finishing where they are right now, and that is, game job done for them.
Exactly, and it has been a deep. I mean, at least so far, we're only 3 laps in, but by the looks of it, despite of the results, I think Mercedes guys will be clinching the title away thanks to Jose being in P4 and getting all of those points, and ABD is just about there in the point scoring positions.
Yeah, and ABD has to, those ties maybe not as considering that everyone started on hards. It may not have an advantage, but for ABD, he has to push on those tires and to make up some kind of ground.
Exactly, and the worst thing that could happen to ABD now would be a safety car, which would pretty much ruin a lot of things. And there's yellow flags just as I say that. Mist has gone off. Has he picked up any wing damage? Luckily, has kept his wing out of the wall and has picked up no damage. But that was very close to a safety car coming out. And as I said, if a safety car were to come out now, well, it wouldn't help ABD in the best of scenarios because everyone else, of course, they don't have to pit. We're only 3 laps in, but they'd still be that much further ahead of ABD. And of course, once the pack is bunched up, people do sometimes get a little bit overreactive and they do things that they normally wouldn't do. So that could be quite crucial for him. As Wizard of Oz, also doing something unusual, going on to a pair of softs. E-Dog with the DRS. Getting past Fury, who can only sit there hopeless as that DRS gives him so much of a speed boost. compared to, of course, a non-DRS guy. Although Fury will have DRS going through the second DRS zone, so perhaps he can try and keep up with E-Dog while E-Dog tries still last, and then perhaps make a move later on in the race.
Yeah, and I think we can see ABD is slowly catching on to the guys ahead. I mean, those are he's starting to push, and we can see Nirvana making a mistake, locking up and going into turn one. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, surprisingly, we haven't seen the Merc boys do that. Uh, considering some are Hamilton fans, but regardless, I think for Jose, I mean, for him, the battle is to get those constructors points. He doesn't have to worry about the drivers' championship. But for ABD, it's the other way around. He's concerned about the drivers' championship, and the way it is going right now, it is slipping away from his hands.
Exactly. So far, so good. Only for Steel Sneeze. Death by Bucky retires.
Okay.
Jose Hero tags him. Safety car has come out, and this has. Oh my God! The car's not even posted. So the guys will have to be a little bit careful there. And Death by Monkey, unfortunately, has died by hitting a barrier. So clearly not following his own name. Although I don't see any reason why a monkey would come onto the track, especially in Azerbaijan.
Yeah. I mean, he has to change his name to now Death by a Wall. But,
exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, for him, it's done. I mean, I think we kind of cursed him. We told the Williams boys are doing well. So I guess for the ABD fans out here, we also said good things about Steel Sneeze, so you never know with the commentator's curse.
Yep,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh!
And
that is a horrible situation for Steel Sneeze. Because, I mean, now it is under safety car. And the funny part is, this exactly happened when there is support showed up for Steel Sneeze in the chat. We can see Tier Shift Guru as well as Rage Nail in the chat saying, let's go for Steel Sneeze. They're cheering for Steel Sneeze. And conveniently, Steel Sneeze is the one who has disconnected in this race. And he has, well, clearly, he is, well, yeah, it's just a bad situation, to be honest.
And ABD is now up to P7, and with the safety car, one thing it does is close the pack, and he will be right there. So he just has to make a couple of positions, and he'll be back into the game. So yeah, it is not game over for ABD yet. There is still about 21 laps to go. So yeah, hopefully for ABD's sake, he can make up some positions and put on a fight and somehow clinch that title.
Exactly. ABD now praying to any god or anything that he believes in that Steel Sneeze hopefully does not join back and he gets the lead, and then Steel Sneeze AI causes him some disaster. So that is something that he will be for sure wishing for.
Yeah.
Currently, Ink, who was in P6, hit from softs from medium, has still remained in P6.
So not a bad strategy for him, considering he started P8, something like that. So
yeah,
it's all good. He's not been racing regularly in this season, and to pick up good amount of points in the last couple of races, it's good to see.
Exactly, he's only joined in the last 3 races, and he's done quite well with himself. So yeah, Ink maybe potentially if somehow ABD and Ink both end up in the podium, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit chaotic there between the two of them. But yeah, of course, Ink, who is also in VC with ABD, helping him out there, and they're all guiding ABD as to what to do. Sometimes it does become a little bit of an information overload, as I'm pretty sure you have experienced it a lot yourself while playing FIFA, where you get told to do a few things and then Of course,
Yeah.
when multiple people are saying it, it just becomes a massive overload, and then you don't know what to do. So it could turn out to be a potential situation like that for ABD, but hopefully that won't be the case. Not too much pressure on him at this current stage with 20
And
laps remaining.
simply he's been guided by both Moto and Mamu. So he's I'm pretty sure they're really good people to guide you through the race. So hopefully ABD is not let down, and he can make up those positions.
Yeah, well, Moto, if you're talking about this track and someone being guided by Moto, then if we go back to our own Tier 1 race, what Moto had done in that race, well, hopefully that is not the advice being given to
It's
ABD,
it's
because
it's
otherwise,
mostly different when you're guiding versus when you're driving. So hopefully it's quite the opposite. So let's hope it is a very different case this time.
exactly, hopefully it is the opposite of what Moto had done in Baku himself, and I think the safety car might be coming in at the end of this lap, or not. It's not.
No, I don't think so. I mean, nah, I think it's going to be one more lap.
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah.
Alex conveniently going a little too slow. Might be a penalty coming his way for purposefully going slow behind the safety car and not catching up to the pack. Potentially race fixing.
Yeah, we don't comment on those things. We do not know. So we are I have no comment on that, but let's see how it goes. And Mist, talking about Mist making a lot of mistakes. Uh, again, it's been a recurring theme that he he does a decent qualifying, and during the race he just keeps on spinning, which does not help his case. And that's why Ferrari boys are, P6 or P7 in the championship.
Exactly. It has been. It started off well for the Ferrari guys. Mist was showing a lot of potential. Even was Alex, to be honest. And then, of course, it has
Yeah.
dwindled down a little bit as we have progressed in the season.
Yeah. And, you know, considering it's a safety car, I think it's time to pull out facts about Baku for today's race. So today's fact about Baku. So the world's first tanker ship was actually launched in Baku in 1878. It was called Zoroaster by the Noble brothers. So the world's first tanker ship was in Baku, in fact, considering it is a port. So that is a fact for today.
No wonder Hamilton wanted to go see that port in 2021.
Yeah, that's just a magic trick by him.
And hopefully Jose will not be pulling off any such magic tricks on this restart.
Exactly. And E Dog is right there, at P5. Right now, the way it is going, Merc boys are clinching it, but E Dog is right there. One Merc car goes out of the window, and it's game on for the Alpha boy.
Yep, well, one is already pretty much out of the way. If Jose also gets out of the way, well, then E-Dog will be the happiest man on track other than Steve Sneeze,
Please,
who is
please, yeah.
back and will be looking to restart, going around 100 kph, a little too fast, in my opinion, on a restart. But yeah, well, the safety car is now pulling off into the pits. He still has to wait just a little bit before it goes fully in. And now the green flags are waved, so he can restart whenever he wants to. But of course, he doesn't really want to give any slipstream to anyone behind him. So the best strategy would be to go as late as possible as 9, revving his car out in first gear. And now does he go? He still hasn't gone. Now he has, and that has been a very good restart, giving approximately 600 meters, or actually around 500 meters, before anyone can make a move. And of course, not enough to be not enough gap to be making a move. There's Jose Hero up into P3, getting past Vicious on the first corner. There, Ink now having a look down the inside of Vicious. E-Dog and ABD are scrapping. E-Dog's not had a very good restart there, and he has lost a position to ABD, but they're still side by side while they go into turn 3 here. Fury watching this battle quite closely. Now Fury trying to make a move around the outside and sticks it. Fury getting past E-Dog there, and what a move by him. Miss trying to get involved in that battle. Fury gets spun around there, and despite his best efforts, he is now plumb last. Both the Ferrari guys who use Ferrari engines are now side by side. Mist also getting involved in this battle, getting past Nirvana. Oh my
God.
I think Alex Joseph has lost his car there on the exit.
Ink has retired from the session.
Retired from the session. And there's
and he's binned it. He's binned it on the wall.
A disastrous restart for Mist, for E-Dog, and for Alex Joseph, and of course for Ink.
And it's not even a lap after the safety car, and already two guys have retired from the race. So one has retired, and one is pretty much plumb last. So it's absolutely not been a good restart for these guys. And ABD is now up to P4. So for him, it is looking, good right now. He just needs a couple more positions, a position now just to, get into those P3, and that will be it for him. So yeah, I guess it kind of lucked out for ABD.
It did luck out for ABD, but well, E-Dog within a matter of half a lap was like, I have a potential for the WCC to I am done for the WCC.
Yeah, he's now not only going to lose that WCC, he's going to lose that P3 in the championship that he did actually manage to get. So not a good race for E-Dog, but still about I would say 17 laps left, and surprisingly it's only been 9 laps, and it's so much chaos has already happened. So that's what Baku does to a race.
Exactly, and as we progress a little bit further into this race, can we have a quick look at who has picked up the fastest lap of the race so far? It is Death by Monkey who has retired from this race. So, if assuming nobody else can pick up that fastest lap away from Death by Monkey, I think there could be a chance where, of course, going a little bit later on into this race, we'll have to pull out the calculators and do some calculations while looking at the points, because we have to be completely accurate in this situation as to who's winning the championship.
Yeah.
We cannot pull off an esports and declare the wrong guy as the champion.
And Steel Sneeze, I think he had a 6-point deficit to ABD. So yeah, he had 6-point deficit. So the way it is going right now, he is winning the championship. So for ABD, for anything to happen, he has to get that P2 win.
And as we have a quick look at, once again, the standings, ABD 28 leading with 233, Utpal Uttara 227. And at this current stage, EP10 is losing his P3 in the championship 2-9. And
ABD is losing the P1 to Steel Sneeze.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I guess ABD does need to finish P2 in this race for him to clinch that championship. And for that to happen, Jose has to stick behind 9 and then, do some sort of team game and let ABD pass for that P2.
Which will once again be a little bit hard to do.
Exactly.
As we get some predictions in the chat for the fastest lap, apparently Burnt Maylander will have the fastest lap by the end of this race. And yeah, possibly.
Okay, Ashwin has said Baku has a unique religion. People sacrifice front wings to their deity. Yeah, that is also correct. There is a lot of front wing donations to this track. I mean, I think we should have actually predicted how many front wings are donated to this track. I think that should have been the predictions for today's race.
Well, already we have around 4 of them which have been given up so far. So
Yeah,
I think a lot more could be incoming. And of course, the deity of Azerbaijan will be quite happy with the amount of donations he's getting today.
exactly.
And I think we're just facing some issues. Hence why we're on the be right back screen. I can guarantee you the safety car has not restarted yet. So you're not missing out on anything. So hold still as we come back, and you can see the safety car is only in the final sector. But of course, we'll have the safety car going in this lap. Vicious, Fury, Mist, Nirvana, Wizard, E-Dog have all pit. And barring E-Dog, everyone who has pit has gone on to a pair of medium tires.
Yeah, and the hard runners have chosen not to pit. So they plan on stretching those tires and going onto the softs for the end. And safety car will be in this lap.
And Daki, why don't you take us away with the restart?
Yeah, and Steel Sneeze will be trying to do. I don't know if he'll be trying to go very slow right until the end, but I guess he'll have to try something different for this restart, and hopefully we do not get to see more chaos, which will just hinder for us viewers to watch the race. And we can see 9 revving out his engine, on first gear, trying to get that restart right on second gear, in fact, and trying to get that restart perfectly nailed. And Steve Sneeze has pulled away. So he has done the same thing as last time. He has pulled away from 9, and 9 has been again caught out by the restart. And we can see Jose has had a moment, and he's gone down to P11. So something has happened right there, and now ABD is up to P3. So for him, he has to now follow very closely to 9 to get that P2 and get back into the championship battle. And we can see all the drives follow him very closely, and we can see Nirvana going to the ghosting through. So yeah, and these guys, and Vicious is now up to P4 with the Ferrari boys 5 and 6, and we can see Alex a bit squirmy at the exit, now heading onto the right hander before the castle section. And let's see if anyone makes a mistake there. No. Also,
Jose has gone off exactly where Hamilton did. And I guess no Mercedes car in Baku can stay away from that corner.
yeah, Jose was a bit of a magician today, did some sort of a magic trick, didn't work out.
Yep, he's 4 seconds behind E-Dog on 10 lap old Heart, so his chances of recovering are pretty much done for unless there's another safety car. Or perhaps he can go see the port himself.
Exactly, and we can see Wizard of Oz falling very closely to the Ferrari boys, and ABD is now been overtaken by Vicious. So yeah, it was looking fairly good for ABD considering he was just 9 tenths away from 9, but now he's dropped down further back. So ABD has to gain back that position and get into that P2 slot. Otherwise, it's like we mentioned before, it's game over for him.
Exactly, APD in P4 has to put a lot of work. Ferrari guys going side by side and are swapping positions. No teamwork here, and Wizard of Oz also sending it, compromising Jose, and Fury gets past as well. Although for some reason Fury, who always tries to make a move there, gets something just happens to him, especially with the Ferrari car, and he is unable to make a move there. Although he has cleared off Alex Joseph here quite quickly to not get into the same situation he was in just a few laps ago. Alex Joseph has sent it once again, has sent Fury into the wall.
No!
He has retired from this race, and that is another safety
safety car.
That is out after just one lap of racing. And yeah, Alex Joseph clearly showing that anything is possible if you're in a Ferrari, even murders.
And you know, with Alex, he has told Fury, Baku to the wall for you. And and that is race over for Fury. And good for Jose Hero. He can now again close up to the gap somehow to the pack. And I guess the hard runner should pit right now for medium tires. I think it would be good for them. But
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully they go do that. And does Steel Sneeze go into the pits? Yeah, he does.
Well, it was only sensible that he did pit. Why has ABD pit? I mean, looking at the current trends, ABD being that far behind, despite being on 11 lap old hards, might have just continued on, kept the track position, continued on, pit for the mediums, or if the safety car does come out much later, could have gone on to the softs. And the softs delta is about 3 seconds a lap faster than even the hards or the mediums. So he could have easily pulled that off.
Yeah, but the one thing we can see is now ABD is right behind Steel Sneeze. So yeah, if ABD can manage to pick up his pace, hopefully he does better on the medium tires and he's able to challenge Steel Sneeze, and then that's good for him because that's what he exactly wants. He doesn't need to pass Steel Sneeze, he just has to be right behind him to clinch that championship.
Exactly, and we have seen something we have noticed is that Nine has been purposefully slowing down behind the safety car. So the stewards as well as the coordinators, especially the coordinators, will be having a very, very good look at that. But yeah, ABD. Oh yeah, you're actually correct. He's right behind Steel Sneeze, and he has to very, very much count on ABD himself getting a very good start here because his teammate is down into P10. So his teammate can
Yeah.
be of practically no help. The other guys are fighting their own championships, so of course they can't help out either. So ABD has to do whatever he can, whatever is there in his power to make sure that he can get past Steed's knees and clear off the drivers ahead. If not, it will be a very, very challenging and a very, very tough day for him.
Exactly. And for ABD's sakes now, as we have seen, with Ink and Jose Hero who was helping him up, up to the last safety car. Now these guys are not there for him and it's all alone. And like you said, for ABD, for his championship's sake, he has to stay behind Steel Scenes, whatever it takes, whether it's to spam ERS, whether it's to go wheel to wheel. He has to be right behind him. And that's the only way right now for him to do something about that championship.
Pretty much so. ERS jumping, of course, will not help him in the slightest. The least he can do is, I guess, stay stuck in that DRS. And Knight is picked at the worst possible time. He will be last, to be honest. But yeah, I guess that one lap fresher mediums will help to some extent. Vicious missed Wizard as well as Nirvana, who pit in the earlier safety car onto the mediums. They currently lead, but that wear difference between their tires is, compared to the guys who have pit under the safety car, it'll be massive at this point. So there'll be a clear pace advantage despite being on the mediums. It won't be too easy, but just a few laps in, we'll see a very, very clear pace difference between the two of them.
Yeah, I think around lap 20, it's going to be really pretty apparent when the tires actually start to fall off. And we have seen on this track, when tires fall off, they fall off like massively. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy for them to keep these guys behind. And now 9 is behind Jose Hero. So, Jose Hero has to somehow keep 9, behind if he wants, to get those, help ABD get that championship.
Yeah, it will be quite hard for him to pull off, to be honest. Because 9, of course, as we know, is a very, very quick guy.
Quick, yeah.
And Jose, he will try his best to keep him back, but then again, that depends upon where Vicious restarts. because if Vicious restarts quite early with the help of the slipstream and stuff, I think it'll be a pretty easy move for 9. Whereas if Vicious does restart a little bit later, E-Dog
E-Dog is retired.
under the safety car has retired from this race. His championship hope for a
Is
P3 in it is completely
and
over.
and Alfa Romeo's constructors championship is also gone. So that with this result, it means that Mercedes is officially winning the constructors championship in T2. So for them, one headache is out of the window, and now it's the drivers championship which they have to focus on.
Certainly, but this will be a little bit on the edge as Vicious, who will be looking to restart over here in the Aston Martin, holding the brakes so that he can get some temperature in his tires to maximize his restart, has enabled overtake. So,
Okay.
hopefully this is a visual glitch.
Yeah.
Because Alex is not leading and others haven't reacted well. Vicious has gone now. There's yellow flag which has come out, and not sure what is happening. Well, what's happened there? Alex has gone ahead and retired from this race.
I think we need to rejoin the lobby. I think there is some.
No, I think no. I'm seeing the chat. Maybe apparently it is an issue on Alex's side. He has manually done that, so it's on Alex right there. His lobby is fine.
But how did Alex go? Did he just? Okay. That is very, very weird. But let's continue back to the race. Vicious has already pulled out about 7/10, about a second from Mist. So Vicious right now is clear from all the mess that is going on the back. And we can see Steel Sneeze and ABD going wheel to wheel.
Nirvana, actually.
Oh, Nirvana, sorry. So Nirvana and Steel Sneeze is going wheel to wheel, and this is certainly helping ABD because he'll be slowing down Steel Sneeze, and ABD just has to hold on somehow to that DRS of Steel Sneeze.
Yep, and hopefully, I mean, we've exhausted 3 of the 4 safety cars available to us. Hopefully, that 4th one does not get exhausted. Let's have a good race all the way until the end here. A proper fight, a proper championship. Nirvana, who's fending his life off for that P4, will certainly get past here thanks to the help of the slipstream and, of course, a little bit of the ERS, I'm pretty sure. ABD, on the other hand, will also be looking for the same. Nirvana has put Steel Sneeze into the wall. There has been damage for Steel Sneeze, and Steel Sneeze has to pit. And within a matter of a moment, there has been disaster that has struck for Steel Sneeze, whose championship might fully be over here as ABD leads away in P4.
Oh my god, and this is absolutely chaotic. I mean, Nirvana not able to hold on to the fact that Steel Sneeze is much quicker than him, has put Steel Sneeze into the wall, and I think this is the worst thing Steel Sneeze could have hoped for, who has been driving absolutely brilliantly throughout this race.
Exactly, this has been a disaster situation for Steel Sneeze. Nirvana, on the other hand, will be thanked by the Mercedes guys. I'm very, very sure they will be pretty much, I guess, worshipping him until the end of this race. Steel Sneeze comes out on a fresh pair of mediums around 26 seconds behind the other car. And to be honest, I didn't think this was the right call because he could have just gone on to a pair of softs and see if we pulled off, or maybe he's hoping for another safety car, which at this stage might be highly unlikely as we're left with only 8 drivers.
Yeah, and this has worked out very well for ABD, who at one point thought his championship hopes are all gone, is now back again leading the championship.
Exactly, but we might have cost him a little bit there, as we just say that. Hopefully not the case, because then, well, he'll be on our backs once he does lose it. So
I think you know, simply the way I think it's going on, you know, Nirvana is getting a couple of free monster cans from the Mercedes boys.
Perhaps a free meal also.
Yeah, a free meal also.
As 9 getting past Miss here, moving up to P3. Alpha Tori, P2, P3, and now, well, they're only a second and a bit separating both the Alpha Tori guys.
Wait,
Hopefully, no collisions between the two of them.
simply, you know what that means? If actually AlphaTauri boys manage to get a 1-2, they are winning the championship, Constructors Championship, out of nowhere.
Oh, are they?
Because they're 290 points to Merck's 311.
That is very, very interesting. We'll do that maths calculation within the final 5 laps, as that is when hopefully everything will be sorted out. But for now, both the AlphaTauri guys are close to each other, and AlphaTauri being a team which has a habit of colliding with each other. Hopefully, they do not do it now because they have a very, very good chance, as you said, of winning the constructor title out of absolutely nowhere over here. Hoping that mathematically it is possible because both the Mercedes guys are still in P5 and P6, which is still a decent point scoring position for now. Vicious under heavy attack by both the guys. They'll both have DRS, and I think a very, very beautiful double overtake is coming up. Both of them will have DRS, both of them have the slipstream, both of them will be using their ERS as we come onto the main straight. That slipstream just pulling them in to Vicious here, and they've already caught it before the DRS. DRS now turns on. There goes Wizard of Oz ahead of Vicious, and there goes 9 ahead of Vicious before we even get into turn 1. And Vicious tries fighting it, but to no avail. He can get the DRS over here, but how effective will it be? Practically nothing, because there is DRS for 9, and I think this has been an amazing showcase by the AlphaTauri guys, and of course Wizard letting 9 by.
Yeah, and this is absolutely what the AlphaTauri boys wanted, a 1-2 finish. Currently, the way things are, and they will be leading the Constructors' Championship. And, this race has been absolutely chaotic from, different drivers changing positions and, the championship battle going up and down. So, yeah, it's really, really fun to watch.
Exactly. So far, so good. The race is still not over. Steve Sneeze is caught up close to 7 or 8 seconds. Yeah, he's caught up 8 seconds onto Nirvana, but still, as things stand, he will not be winning the championship. 9 and Wizard, though, have a potential of winning the WCC. Now, I do wonder, however, what will come first for 9, his team championship or something else, because he clearly, by the looks of it, has left Wizard all by himself. Oh! Mist has gone off into the wall, has picked up some wing damage, luckily has not DNF'd.
Yeah, and Alex has joined. Okay, for to spectate. Yeah, I mean, unless he's providing information, there's no reason for him to be here. But Mist has somehow managed to keep the car back, and ABD is following very closely to Jose. So this inter-team battle is going on, and I think for them, they have to realize they are not here for the Drivers' Championship. Drivers' Championship at this rate is pretty much sealed, and they have to, get to the AlphaTauri boys to, seal their Constructors' Championship.
Exactly, as someone did point out in our YouTube comments that apparently Jose does not care about ABD's championship and he's being selfish. So that is coming very much into fruition here. So clearly that person has some insider information we don't.
Yeah. And Alex is saying that he disconnected and the game just DNF'd itself. So that is just a Codemasters thing. Yeah. It's we're just going to assume that is the case, but we never know.
Exactly. Vicious now has caught up to Wizard of Oz, who has once again been left to fend off for himself. 9 clearly not caring about the team champion.
Actually, no. He is. Look at this.
He slowed down.
He has slowed down. So they are actually playing the team game. So there is. Okay, so this is some Carlos Sainz tactic where he's slowing down so that they can keep that 1-2.
So but he's not in the DRS.
Okay, now he is.
Now he is.
Okay.
So Nine has had to lift off and give up a second and a half just to keep his teammate around. And obviously, I'm pretty sure the case is going to be Wizard, you stay behind me, I'll give you the DRS, but do not get past, whatever the reason may be.
Yeah, and one good thing is that with Nine is that he's on a fresher set of mediums. So for him, he doesn't have to worry about Wizard of Oz. He can pull away whenever he feels like. But right now, they are playing the team game because they know that the Constructors' Championship is in their hands.
Exactly, they are just having their little bit of fun. We can see Nine is on about 40% ERS. Can we have a quick look at Wizard as well? Mist, who's picked, Nirvana, who's also picked, have both gone on to softs. And Wizard is pretty much out of ERS himself. He is pretty much on par with Vicious. So I think this is a great opportunity for Wizard to just save a bit of ERS, play the team game here, and yeah, these guys might actually take the Constructors away. Although Jose, Hero, and APD have caught up just a little bit. Jose just in that view, as you can see in the back there, 1.4 seconds. I wonder what direction this race is going to take in the final 6 laps.
Yeah, and we can see Nine now has pulled 1.3 away from Wizard of Oz, and will he slow down again? And looks like he is slowing down slowly so that he can get Wizard in his DRS. And this is absolutely a tactical masterclass that is going on between these two drivers. And for Wizard of Oz, one thing simply that we didn't mention was Wizard of Oz and Vicious used to be teammates, and they have collided so many times with each other. So there is extra incentive for Vicious and Wizard of Oz to beat each other.
Absolutely, that teammate fury has always been there, and hopefully it will be settled. Vicious sliding out of the DRS right over here. This all depends upon Wizard. If Wizard can get a good exit out of turn 1, he can keep Vicious still out of their DRS. They can quite easily pull away, and by the looks of it, going through the detection, Wizard has managed to stay ahead. He will get the DRS. Vicious does not get the DRS. So this could be something bigger coming up very, very soon here.
Yeah, and Jose, he's slowly closing into that gap. Now only 1.2 away from Vicious. So he'll also be, once he's into the DRS, and I'm pretty sure he'll be looking to get that final podium position for himself.
Exactly, because his teammate at this point to him doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Although he should start considering a little bit because Steel Sneeze is right there. I wonder, is there enough of a points gap between the two of them for ABD to breathe comfortably? Or if some disaster happens to ABD, if Steel Sneeze gets by, is it wraps? I will now quickly pull up the calculator.
It's 6 points.
Nerdly whitey.
It is 6 points between ABD and Steel Sneeze. So if ABD goes down to P8 and Steel Sneeze up to P5, no, then Steel Sneeze is winning the championship. So it has to finish the way it is right now.
I will have a quick look at this, while I guess you can keep the people entertained for now.
Yeah, sadly I do not have any magic tricks like Jose, but hopefully we can see now Jose, who's putting pressure on Vicious and does the move and is now up to P3, who's on a much fresher set of mediums, and I'm sure he'll be looking on to putting pressure on Wizard of Oz to get that P2. And if he manages to do that, then Merc is certainly getting the Constructors' Championship home.
As things currently stand, ABD will win the championship just by the margin of 8 points.
Yeah, and right now the Merc is at P3. So, 3 and 5. Let's see that. I think we should do the Constructors more than the drivers, because the drivers right now, he has enough of a gap. But let's see. With the Constructors, so that's 290 and 311.
Yep, once again pulling up the calculator, seeing what the situation will be.
30 and 25.
And I am getting information by someone that if Jose Hero finishes in P3 and ABD remains in P5, Mercedes win the championship by 1 point.
Oh, okay.
So it has become even more crucial for Vicious to get past Jose and get him out of that point scoring position.
Exactly. 347 and 345. So they'll be winning by 2 points.
2 points.
Yeah, so this is absolutely crucial for Jose to get past Wizard of Oz to, solidify their constructors championship so they can take the double home. And as we can see, Jose making that move down into turn 1 is now up to P2.
Vicious
And the
is
way it
fit.
is. Okay. Why did Vicious fit?
To get the fastest lap away from someone who's retired, I guess. I don't know. I
But
don't know
that
why
doesn't
Vicious
help
is
his
fit.
case. Yeah.
Maybe
I would. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe the wear might be too much for him because it's a 14 laps and he also has clearly changed his wing. So I think that
I
might
think
be
it's the
the
wing
best
damage.
scenario for him.
I think wing damage was what is holding him up than tire wear. But still, so yeah, so now it's back to the Merc boys getting that championship. So this has been absolutely worked out for the Merc boys. And now ABD, who's on 4 lap fresher tires, will be looking to, you know, put some pressure on Wizard of Oz to get that final podium position. And it's always fun to have the winning driver on the championship winning driver on the podium.
Exactly, but let's not forget 3 laps still remain in this race. We're getting comments from Steel Sneeze supporters saying that this sucks for Steel Sneeze. It is an absolutely horrible situation for him. We completely agree. However, 3 laps still remain in this race, and the whole situation could completely change if ABD makes a massive mistake and spins out. So, because Steel Sneeze will for sure catch up, maybe pass him. Vicious being yeah.
Oh, that's why he's losing a
Oh,
lot of time to
okay.
ABD. So he
So
doesn't have an end plate. Yeah, he doesn't have an end plate.
exactly. So Wizard of Oz, I'm not sure if you guys heard that or not, but Wizard of Oz has hit the wall at the Giovinazzi or Rocket Rajesh corner, and he is now missing a right front end plate, and because of that, he will be losing a lot of time. So ABD has a even bigger chance of ending up on the podium here. And yeah, you can just see he's struggling. He's just struggling to keep that car on track, trying not to understeer. This has become a horror show for Wizard of Oz. And with 2 laps still more to go in this race, they're only half a lap in to lap number 24. This is going to be a very, very big ask for him.
Yeah, and you can slowly see the constructors championship hopes dying for the Alpha Tauri boys, who thought at one point would clinch it, as now all gone to ashes.
Exactly, it was looking very much promising, and now, yeah, it has not gone their way. Perhaps if we had lesser retirements, more cars in the midfield, perhaps we could have had a proper challenge there. But yeah,
Oh,
oh, that is Wizard who's completely destroyed his front wing
and
going
no
through the
safety car.
same corner. And of course, no safety car will be coming out now as the game hates giving out a safety car and finishing the race under the safety car. Too late for that. He will be understeering like crazy, having to lift off in 6th gear with a full-on red wing, having to now defend off from APD, who of course has the DRS as well because he caught up. Wizard staying out to try and help their situation and actually managing to stay ahead. APD
With the
deciding not to
overspeed.
get past him. So this in the penultimate lap of this race has become a huge task for ABD, although he will be clinching the title. But if he DNFs here, if disaster strikes, if anything massive happens, it might be over for him. Still another lap to go after this, and with the DRS, ABD somehow not being able to catch up to Wizard of Oz, which is quite surprising to me.
No, and one thing we know is that when you have a wing damage, the overspeed that you get because of the loss of wing, and I'm pretty sure that's what Wizard of Oz is doing right now. He's just trying to hold ABD and he does not want to lose that podium position, but he's going to lose here, where this is the place where he's going to lose a massive amount of time, just because the amount of downforce you require to turn in the car.
Surprisingly enough, the gap is still maintained. And if anything, ABD has lost more time to someone who has lost a wing. Vicious has caught up to someone who will be losing a championship. I don't know what is worse, a wing or a championship. I guess a championship is quite a hard thing to lose. ABD has now finally caught up a little bit more to him, and of course cheers for Nine as well, who's pulled off a 4.5 second gap, and he's absolutely pushing like an animal there. And Wizard scraping the wall, and this might be it. Oh, very close there between Wizard and ABD. They somehow just about made it. This reminds me of F1 esports. ABD was being squeezed into the wall as we begin the final lap, and this might be very dirty. ABD will be quite frustrated there. He of course will be raging out with Wizard of Oz. Wish is getting past
No.
and Wish is taking away a further couple of points from Steve's knees. Wizard of Oz hitting the wall while ABD gets past him. ABD has the DRS, and he has managed to clinch away that P3 from him, while Wizard can only look as ABD pulls away quite a bit with his flashing light. But at least ABD has a wing in comparison to Wizard of Oz, and this has been an amazing race. And what a way to finish off a championship. While Steve Sneeze, who was in P5, who was maybe hoping for a penalty or something that could have affected ABD somehow and dropped him down a position, has now completely gone out of the window. As Steve Sneeze, who sat in P6 behind Vicious, who is in softs, has completely finished up his chances. Wizard does retire from this race after hitting the wall, and Vicious almost hitting his car there. But lucky enough that the car ghosted at the very last minute. And talking about last minute things, ABD, what a season it has been. Completely ups and downs, a lot of turmoil, especially in Australia where he was leading and then lost the race. What a season it has been. Up and down for both the Mercedes guys. Up and down for pretty much everyone. Great efforts by Steve Sneeze. Great efforts by Ryan for winning this race and putting in a massive drive in his cyber cafe. But keep your claps rolling as Jose Hero, who is finally finished up in the podium after so long, takes away P2, and keep them still rolling as ABD, who finishes in P3, is the champion of Tier 2 in IRC, and Mercedes clinch away the title after massive efforts in this season. And oh my, what a season it has been. Disappointment for Steve Sneeze and amusement for the Mercedes guys, in an absolute joy and shock. Two different phases of this championship, and what a race it has been.
Exactly, what a race, and chapeau to ABD. I mean, hats off. What a season for him, what a drive. We thought it was all over for him after that wing damage at lap 1, and he has fought his way through with all the obstacles in the way to finish P3 and clinch that driver's title, which he has been looking for so long, and he's finally the Tier 2 champion. So I'm so happy for him. And and a great race from Nine himself, who's our very own Cyberpunk, who has won the race in Baku.
Exactly. Massive efforts by Nine. Amazing efforts by the guys in the Mercedes. And for one last time, this is your championship. Apologies. Race results in Baku. Nine winning the race with a very good 6.5, almost 7 second gap. Jose Hero in P2, ABD in P3, Vicious in P4 with the fastest lap of the race, Steel Sneeze in P5, Mist in P6, Nirvana P7, Wizard of Oz in P8, Alex Joseph P9, E-Dog P10, Fury P11, Ink P12, Death by Monkey P13, BK19 P14, and finally we can get the absolutely screaming, shouting, and joyous voices of the Mercedes guys, as well as Nine in this. And stay tuned, because we have a before the interviews, we have a donut session that is coming up for you guys to feast upon, post which we will go on to the interviews. and we will get the reactions of our guys who have put in a massive and solid effort throughout the season. And funnily enough, yet another fun fact: two Mercedes engine powered cars have won the Constructors' Championship in Tier 1 as well as in Tier 2. So clearly, the Mercedes engine was the way to go.
Yeah, and what an absolute roller coaster of season it has been, with a lot of ups and downs. And we have seen, winning a race is not only that matters, but by being consistent. And ABD has certainly done that. He may not be as quick over a one lap pace, but it's a race where he's been the strongest. And today he has managed to not only get that podium, but to clinch that final drivers' championship that he's waited for so long.
Exactly, and I'm not sure why they're joining now because we have a donut session. So, guys, go enjoy. We'll bring you back after that. uh, but yeah, it has been a very, very, very good season for these guys, and yeah, everyone is, of course. I see if you are in our server, which if you're not, the link is in the description. Go ahead and join it. We have seen an amazing reaction from everyone. Everyone is sat in our VCs, and yeah, a lot of people congratulating for of course the both the Mercedes guys, especially ABD as well, who potentially might be tears.
Tier 1. And another thing to say is, we have been congratulating ABD, but we also have to give congratulations to Steel Sneeze. He today it might have been an unlucky race for him. He had certainly the pace to win the race. It was unfortunate for him, but he has driven a brilliant season, and no one can take that away from him. So kudos to you also, Steel Sneeze. And we have all noticed your performance, and hopefully you are also there in T1, hopefully next season.
Absolutely. Uh, well, I am just going through our history of whichever season everybody has taken part in. And from what I can see, there has been no WDCs from ABD. So this is
It's the
an
first WTC, yeah. And last season when he was my teammate when I was in T2, uh, ABD was leading to a certain point, and we three were fighting with FIFA Connect for the championship, and with unfortunate circumstances, he had to leave the season. But yeah, we had said then, there's a championship coming for him, and finally he has done it this season. So again, a massive congratulations to the Mercedes boys.
absolutely. And man, I am out of breath here.
Yeah, I mean, what a season, right? What a season.
Exactly.
What a race, actually. I mean, we have seen positions change. We have seen drivers getting damaged. Very, very, risky moves and risky defense. And yeah, and I think it's been a brilliant show for us.
Absolutely. And hopefully, these guys will be putting one final good show for you. Stay tuned in. We, of course, have the driver interviews coming up. But before that, we are quickly setting up our donut session. And we'll quickly, of course, talk about the people who were not spoken about too much. And, of course, still keep the praises going for our drivers. And of course, in the meanwhile, we'd like to thank anyone who has tuned in so far, all the people who have taken interest, and all of the drivers, of course, regardless of your tier, who have taken part in this championship in season 11 of the Indian Racing Community F1 Esports League. And yeah, thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your viewership as well as interest. And of course, it goes a very long way within the team.
Yeah, and for the viewers who are hoping for more F1, right now the season has come to a close, but we do also have ACC, so you guys can tune in every Saturday at 8 for the ACC race.
Exactly, and that is considering if Kunos doesn't decide to, have a nice break and a nice day off on a Saturday, we will be getting ACC races properly every week from then on out. Talking about ACC, we have Laguna Seca coming up, which will be a very interesting race, to
Lot of
say
incidents,
the least.
lot of incidents with a corkscrew, but yeah.
Corkscrew, Laguna Seca. But yeah, it is. It's going to be quite a fun race that will be coming up, and hopefully the donuts are quite soon as well. And hopefully, us mentioning donuts this many times isn't making you guys hungry. I mean, to be fair, I haven't had lunch, so it is just worsening my situation. But hopefully, is not the case for you.
Yeah, and if you guys are all interested, do join our server. And there will be obviously social races and file appers that will be going on for everyone.
Yeah, weekly social races or file appers, whatever, are a community event, so you guys can take part. And of course, as Darky mentioned earlier, it's not the end for F1. We will have a lot of things coming up very shortly, as the coordinators have been planning. So if you want to take part in any of our flagship events, be it Pace Off, F2 Mini Championship, Regions Cup, and of course our very own F1 League, then do make sure to go over to the description. The link is right there, or you can head on over to www.indianracingcommunity.co.in and join from there.
And other games as well, not only F1 and ACC. There are other games as well, and that's a fun thing about the IRC. We not only we do racing, we have other games as well, and you'll find a lot of people for any sort of multiplayer games.
Exactly. We have a very large community, and talking about large community, we have the parade session that is going on. Not sure why Vicious is in P2. It's supposed to be in championship order, but I guess some of the drivers have opted to not be there. Someone tell ABD he's not supposed to push. It's a parade lap. He has to go slowly.
Yeah, he has won the championship. You can take it easy, mate. There's no need. But I guess he's okay. I thought he was going for a donut session there, but
Yeah,
okay.
so for the viewers that don't know, it will be a parade lap, which some drivers have decided to do, just showing off, waving final goodbyes for this season. Post which they'll be doing, of course, their donut session and having all the fun in the world while they do so. And let's talk about a few of the drivers that we have over here. I can't see who's in the session right now. If you can have just a brief look. Yes, there you go. Vicious, Jose, Fury, Inc., and Alex. So if we talk about Inc., for example, he joined in with 3 races remaining in this in this season, and he's put in quite a proper performance from his side. Of course, unfortunately, could not end up getting any of the podiums, but still has put in a valiant effort. And if he was there for the rest of the season, perhaps he could have been somewhere in the midfield, and he could have somehow pulled, a proper solid points position here. And what are your thoughts on Fury, Darky?
Yeah, and Fury is also, Fury has, it's not been an easy season for him. It's been pretty up and down. But he has the pace, and hopefully, with each season that goes, that's a good thing about driving in this league. You just improve every season, unless you have certain drivers who shall be unnamed. But most of the drivers improve, and I'm sure Fury will be getting even faster by the next season. And who else is there? Vicious. I mean, Vicious also very quick driver. He had to unfortunately pull out of the season, but we have seen his pace, and he's obviously a very quick driver. And
Exactly.
okay, so ABD has decided to do a donut session somewhere else.
Yeah.
Can we get the heli cam? Is it possible?
No, unfortunately, we
No.
cannot select the cam by itself. But
Yeah.
this is all we get, and I guess this is all we need. Apologies if you're getting a seizure there. Not sure what SSJ is trying.
Yeah, we
But
know
yeah,
ABD is. I know we know that ABD season has been up and down, but we don't need to show that to the camera.
but yeah, talking about one final drive here, Alex Joseph, who himself took part a little bit later in the season and started off quite well Yeah,
Yeah.
he started off quite well, but has proven and shown that he can be a force to reckon with at times. And hopefully, in the next season, with a little bit more consistency, APD once again hitting the wall, he will be up there and he will show off. And this has been it from our drivers. We'll let them have their fun time as we pull the guys in for the podium interviews.
Yeah, so let's get ABD in.
And let's get Jose
Okay.
in. Let's see if 9 is
Yeah,
anywhere.
let's ask.
That is, well, mixed emotions from everyone. Of course, the coordinators. I guess we'll talk about that after we're done with this. Let's get 9 in, our winner for today, and someone who's clinched away P3. And Darky, take us away with our P3 finisher, ABD.
ABD, finally, the championship is home. So, congratulations for that podium finish, and most importantly, congratulations to get the Drivers' Championship. I mean, it's a long time coming. We have been teammates last season, and finally, you have done it, sir. So, congratulations. Talk us through your race.
Thank you so much. Yeah, just like you simply said, it's a lot of emotions to carry. And well, truth be told, I did get wing damage at the race start, but I did never lost hope because I mean this is what our races were throughout the season. It's like it wasn't fixed at the race start. So I was like very cool, and I'm really proud of the fact that I was cool at that point. I said, "Tum log aaram se chalao. We got this. Eventually something will happen, and we will just make our way back." So no need to panic. Everybody stay on their plan, and then yeah, it just it just helped. But I don't know, the steel sneeze incident. I've seen it from my own eyes. I just don't think it was necessary for him to push there. So well, I guess in the end, I did deserve to win this.
And it was a sort of a Sebastian Vettel's sort of comeback in the Brazil race of 2012, where he did get damage in the first lap and still managed to get up those position and clinch that uh, drivers championship. So again, a
it,
massive congratulations to you. And we saw you. You were losing at time. The pace to like Jose and Nine. So what was happening there?
yeah, thank you for pointing out. It was like Vettel, and that is the same reference that the fanboy Inc. has given in the race. And well, the pace thing, actually, our plan wasn't. I mean, after the last safety car, the final third one,
Yeah.
our plan was just to hold it. And I saw Jose, like it was obvious that Jose can do much better, and I didn't want to hold him back just for that reason. So I told him, Jose, I think you can get the podium. To chala ja, I don't need the DRS at the moment. I think we are good to go. And then he just went for it. And the positions, the pace that he had was just phenomenal. And he just made the way, and him being there gave me confidence. It's like, okay, I don't have to do anything. It's just a cruise mode. It's just like qualifying, outlap qualifier, something like that. So it was very safe. We were just taking safe. And then at that point, after a few laps, like we just saw Wizard make a few mistakes. So I was like, okay, chalo, the cherry on top would be getting podium in this race. So let's go for it.
Yeah, and one final thing, ABD, that final couple of laps with Wizard of Oz. I mean, we saw you; he was almost pushing you to the wall on the main straight. So, what were your thoughts then? I mean, I'm pretty sure even you were like, this is not good for my championship hopes.
That was the reason why I said there were a lot of emotions to carry, and one was that. And it's like at the moment that we were aiming for the podium as well, it's like the VC was lit. Everyone is like, okay, it's not worth it. You need to break. And then I just had to back out on the main stage. So it's like, yeah, that was fun. And then I break earlier, and then eventually got the position. So it wasn't clean, but it's hard racing. I would say it was fine. It's fine from his end. But the main reason why I had lost the pace, I would say, or momentum, I would say, is like under the final safety car. It is when E Dog retired. It was the AI car of Alex that killed him, and it happened right behind me. So it was really scary what was happening, because the AI going at 200 kmph under safety car is not a normal thing. And that was just took us by surprise. And after that, yeah, it was a bit scary too.
Yeah. So regardless of all the obstacles, you still managed to win the championship. So again, a congratulations to you. And simply anything to add?
Well, I just want to say congrats, ABD, on that WTC after so many attempts. And of course, the WCC as well, although you had to carry a lot of the team. But I guess you can finally take a bit of a rest now after all that back pain.
Thank you for that. But I wouldn't say it was me alone, and I would say Jose has been a beautiful teammate at a lot of times. It wasn't maybe shown in the result, but it was shown in our VC, in our race strategy as well. He has been really helpful, and that is the reason why our main aim was to get WCC. It is because
Right.
yeah, we were a good teammates. So it's like it was never about WDC until the final race, I would say. And yeah, we're really happy that I'm really happy that we got WCC more than we got WDC. And finally, if this is the final thing that I have to say, I would like to say thanks to the IRC team, that is the stewards, the coordinators, the commentators, the streamers, and even the people who are behind hosting these things. It's really great platform for the people, whoever is watching. It's not necessary, there's no special requirement. It's just that you need to have the game. Just hop into the server. The link is probably in the description or somewhere, and there are a lot of people to help you out. So it's really great community if you're looking out for something like racing games. So yeah, kudos to you guys.
Yeah, thank you, ABD, for that. I mean, simply that's how you do it. And
Yeah.
ABD, one final thing. I was a better teammate than Jose. Just to put it out there. Yeah. Now let's go to Jose.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jose, who finished P2 in the race. So Jose, congratulations on
man.
that P2 finish. I mean, we do trouble you a lot at times. We do say things, but you have driven an absolutely brilliant race to get that P2. So talk us through your race.
Yep. So I just want to start by congratulating ABD. He just proved that consistency is the key. So congratulations, ABD. You've been a great teammate, and he just carried us through the season. So great efforts by him. And on my race, let's go through that. So I was very nervous from the start because it was the race which needed the performance from me, because you know my races. So I go from the start to the last, then come back. So I am just glad I was able to do a
Technically,
comeback
that is
today.
what you have done this time.
Yeah.
Yep. I am just glad I was able to perform when it was required. Thank you.
Right. And in
No,
the
sorry, go
middle,
ahead.
in the middle, we are getting some people chatting, saying that you're being selfish, not letting anybody buy. To how much truth does that sentence hold?
No, so I got the message.
I
so,
don't think he has to answer that, because it's obvious thing that he doesn't have to do it, and it was part of our strategy. I wanted Jose to
APD,
be
the question was for Jose.
Okay, so ABD being politically correct. So I just our strategy was we are going for the WDC and the WCC. So whatever it takes, we knew from last 5 laps that the WDC is in our hands. So I just felt the P2 was I was going for 9 as well at the end.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, and one final question from my side. How did it feel when I think at some point, I believe you were last conveniently at turn 1. So did you feel like your idol that you look up to, Hamilton, and is that why you channeled him from that point onwards?
I mean, you can say that, but so I have the practice of that comeback, right? Every race I do that. So I was just praying that I just don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
And people ahead were making few mistakes here and there. At the start, it was very complicated because 9, the 2 Williams, Steel Sneeze and Death by Monkey were on the top 3. So it was
Right.
very, and I believe they had some team order. So we had some strategy going on, but when the first VSC came out, we were confident that we had the pace, we would be able to do it. So
All right. Well, at the end of the day, both of you ended up on the podium and, of course, won the World Constructors Championship. So, at the end of the day, congrats, Jose. Great efforts by you as well.
yep, thank you so much.
Moving on to 9, really, really quickly. 9, once again in the Cyber Cafe, I'm assuming. A great race from you. Trying, at one point, you guys could have, you and Wizard, of course, could have clinched away the championship since ABD and ABD and Jose, apologies, were quite a bit far behind, and it was looking mathematically possible for you and Wizard to win. So, what was going through your head at that time?
I mean, after that, I mean, that part where I tried to slow down and give Wizard the TRS as much as I could, but I think he did not have the tires left to, you know, challenge or even stay within and defend. So after he had his first crash where he lost his end plate, I knew for a fact that, the WCC hopes were gone at that point.
Right.
So, I mean, after that, it was just the question about securing the race win, which I did. And that was pretty much everything else was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I mean, it was. I mean, winning has obviously helped you as well because you've snatched away P3 in the championship from EDOG. So, as if the results are to stand, then yeah, you've taken away P3, and in which I believe is your first season in IRC.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually I'm pretty glad to get the P3 in the 5 races that I've done. I believe 5 or 6 races, and so yeah, it's actually a good achievement, and I'm kind of looking forward to the next season as well. Hoping to be involved in the championship since the very beginning, and hopefully from home this time.
Maybe that as we said, you are the cyberpunk, and you have actually won a lot of races. So I guess that is your lucky charm, winning races from the cyber cafe.
Yep.
We can check that in the next season when I do the first race from home and see how I finish. If it does not work, I'll be back at the cyber cafe in the next one.
Yeah, well, valiant efforts from you as well for finishing P3 in the championship, and it has unfortunately come to a close. It has been it from us in season 11, from everyone in tier 1, in tier 2, everyone in the IRC team, the stewards, the streamers, the coordinators, the commentators, everyone has put in a great amount of efforts. So thank you to every single individual who has taken part. Thank you to the viewers who have been sticking around since the first ever race, and of course thank you to the drivers for signing up and taking part. Unfortunately, this has been it from season 11 and from all of us for season 11. ACC is something that will continue on for a little bit longer on every Saturday at 8 p.m. So make sure you tune in for that. Of course, not the end of F1 at all. We will be back with a lot more things. But until then, take care. Have the great rest of your weekend. And we will catch you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Adios.